Welcome to Voices in the Wilderness. I am Pastor Lorraine Bouffard, Bishop of the Diocese of Connecticut for the American Ecumenical Catholic Church. I can remember growing up that my school experience and after-school experience was very different than when I was a teacher in terms of the kind of fighting and bullying and aggression that would go on. I had not experienced that. But as a teacher in the public schools, it would be a daily occurrence. Children would get into physical fights as a result of name calling and all kinds of other issues. And when I would try to break up these fights, or did break them up, I'd say to the children, now come on, sticks and stones can break your bones, but names will never hurt you. Well, that was ludicrous. It didn't take me long until something hit me and said, you know, names do hurt. Not that we would come up with saying something different to the children, but we soon realized that there were certain children who needed more from the school system than just those words, stop fighting. My guests today are Lisa Tregoning. Tregoning. Okay, I'm not going to say her. I'm just going to say Lisa. I can say that. And her brother, Jason Sirios. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You both have this company it's an organization that the two of you started called Advocates for Change.
Yes.
How did this come about?
Well, I was a teacher, a public school teacher, for about 10 years, and I started beginning to do some consulting work in the school systems around the state for other companies. And in the meantime, I would speak to my brother Jason, who lives in New York, and he has a very musical background, and he does a lot of motivational speaking, and I realized that he has a lot of great ideas, and seeing what's happening in the classroom, being with the students, having been a teacher for many years, and knowing there's a lot that needs to be done, that the students need to have people who have a voice for them. I thought that we really should try and take our ideas and put them to action. So that's where we had started our company. And for me, it's having Jason, my brother, there, who knows me the best. I just think that we can do a lot of good programs and a lot of great things to affect change.
Right. And I would add to that it was as simple as the conversations that we would have sitting on her couch or even on the phone. My experience as a motivational speaker in New York City public schools, and her experience doing work with the students, and our personal lives, our experiences, we were motivated by Gandhi's quote, "You must be the change you want to see in the world." And so we had that challenge of what could we possibly do? You know, that feeling, and I think a lot of people feel this. It's bullying is such a huge problem. What could I possibly do? And we one day just said, well, let's try it. Let's be the change that we want to see in the world, and hopefully encourage other people to change as well.
I think that for both of us, it is throughout these years we have really met phenomenal people who are there to make a difference, but for obligations of full-time work or raising a family, that it's very difficult for us to get together. So what we found is really networking and finding the people that he has worked with and the people that I have worked with, and really getting a group together and going out and developing things that are going to affect schools and affect children positively.
Now, is the thrust of what you do towards working with students in, let's say, an auditorium setting, or is it in classroom settings, or is it with teachers, administrators, or all of the above?
It's actually all the above. It's all the above. What I like about what we have started is we truly take what the issue is, we consult with the schools, and we design a program that fits their needs. So it's not one program that fits all of the schools we go to. And we have assemblies for students. What we like to do and what our goal is to have a whole school approach. So in that, we want to make sure that we meet with the teachers, we meet with the students, we meet with administration, and we have parent education class. Not class, it's a parent education meeting, just so we can start talking about what are the common vocabulary words that we need to be able to understand so we can have that dialogue with our children. So we make sure that we are touching everyone who affects the lives of the children.
Have you found any situation or where the administration, when you go, into a new place, kind of have blinders on? Oh no, we don't have that problem. It's kind of like the gay problem doesn't exist. Oh no, we don't have. Oh no, we don't have anybody who has AIDS. We don't have anybody who's gay. We don't have any bullies. No. Do you have that experience?
I'll take that one.
Go ahead.
We do. In fact, that's the big challenge of what we do, is getting to work on the issue is very difficult, because first you have to get through, and this may come across a little too harsh, but the egos that are in place in front of that issue, which is the ego of us coming in and saying, we'd love to help you with this issue. And maybe the administration feeling like we're saying, you don't know what you're doing, so let us take it, which is not what we're there to do. We're there to facilitate or to add to whatever program they have. And I think what you're saying is very prevalent. It's not a huge problem. In fact, we had one administrator who said, yeah, but what is it, 5 kids that this happens to? And so our philosophy is, if it doesn't work for one, it doesn't work for any. So if there's one student of yours that is having a problem, then we need to address it with everybody.
Right.
So everyone feels safe in the school.
The thing is in the reading that I have done, is that schools feel very frustrated in their ability to cope with this problem, because they know in order for there to be change, the parents have got to be involved. And when you're dealing with parents who are overwhelmed already, how do you get them to come? How do you get them to see that they are part of the problem? It would be nice if we could keep using those colorful words, that but we are all part of the problem if there's a problem. And so therefore there's lack of community involvement, and there's lack of parental involvement, because of the sense, I think, of being overwhelmed with all kinds of problems. But basically, the kids do not want to report incidents. Do you find that to be true?
I do find that. And I want to go back to, I think the first question that you started was, the parents are the problem, and how do we get the parents there, and do we see this? And we do. And a lot of times people will say, well, you're preaching to the choir. But the